Today we're here visiting Robert Bentley with Remax on the River in Newburyport, Massachusetts. He's unquestionably one of the top producers in the area, and I'm sure he knows lots of tips and tricks on how to sell your home more effectively. Let's go inside and see
Morning,
what we
Robert.
learn.
Morning. Robert, we have a new feature on our website. It's called Tips and Tricks, and it's for home sellers and buyers to try to increase their success rate. So we know you know a lot about selling homes. You're one of the top sellers in the region. What can you share with our viewers?
Well, number one, you have to price the home correctly. And by doing that, you have to have an agent who knows the market, somebody who is practiced, somebody who has tuned into their ability to be able to look at a property and quickly come to a market price that makes sense for it to be able to attract enough buyers to create urgency and create the best price for the person working to sell their home.
Okay, so you tell me that. How am I going to know when I have that? How do I find that information?
Well, generally it's a two-step process. First, looking at the house, I would come out, take a look at the house inside or out. It only takes about 20-30 minutes. And I always tell people I'm looking at what they can't change, they don't have to clean up or do anything special. Just allow me to get in there and see the bones of the house, see the systems, see the maintenance, and then be able to go and do my homework, which includes what appraisers do. And what they do is they look at the comparable properties that have sold. So you're looking at what has sold that is as closely comparable to the property as possible and coming up with a value based off of relatively comparable sales. Secondly, you're looking at what would be compelling to the marketplace. So you have to look at what the current competition is, what other properties are on the market that are similar at the same time that you're going to be ultimately competing with, and then prove a compelling value to the marketplace and ultimately the buyer.
Robert, you gave us a lot of information with that last answer. What if I really think my house is worth more than you think it's worth? What's the dangers for me if I have that situation?
That's a great question. The dangers of overpricing, it's always something to look at, especially now with the market improving. A lot of people feel that their property might be worth a little bit more, or I'm happily making the phone calls to people that I've talked to in the past to tell them that their house is worth more. But I believe wholeheartedly in pricing properties spot on, because again, what you're trying to do is prove compelling value to the marketplace. If you overprice the property, you could eliminate certain buyers from even seeing it or being visible to them in the online market, which is where 96% of the searches start. So if you're overpriced, you ultimately could miss the perfect buyer or the buyer of the property.
Okay. And what if I've talked to another agent who says that they'll list it for $50,000 more?
Well, that's a typical thing that you hear as an agent that is a producing agent. You hear of other agents that do what is called buying the listing. And buying the listing means that they tell you a price that is not reasonable or is over market value simply to tell you what you want to hear. I don't believe that's good service, and I think it's actually unethical. And it's just something that I would never do. I give the seller the spot on price. Ultimately, it's their decision what to list it for, but I want to be upfront in telling them what it's going to actually sell for.
Great. That's all great information to consider, Robert. And after talking with you, I'm starting to understand that there really are ways that a top producing realtor can make a difference when you're selling your home.
Yeah, absolutely. And I realize there's not a lot of time today to kind of go into all of those nuances, but visit us on the site and you'll be able to spend time there finding out what are some of the other tips that we have to offer.
And if you're watching out there and you'd like to discuss more about selling your home with Robert, you can connect with him in zip code 01950. Thank you, Robert.
Oh, thank you.
If you'd like to connect with the best agents in your town, go to bestagenttoday.com. It's fast, it's easy, and it's free.